Welcome back to the artist always known as Alejandro. It's me, Alejandro, your artiste. And as you can see by the title of this video, we're doing the Phantom of the Rock Opera. Last week we did the Phantom of the Opera. So now we're doing the Phantom of the Rock Opera. Who is this guy, Alejandro? I've never heard of him. That's because I created him. Yeah, my team called the Mighty Monsters. Back in the day, I called them Mighty Monster Men, which seemed kind of because there's also a female in the group. But anyway, I just kept creating characters like based on the Universal Monsters and lore and all that. And I said, well, I got to do one for the Phantom of the Opera, so let's make him a rock opera dude. So yeah, you can see he's a rock and roller. I'm doing that rock and roll sign, thrash metal baby, with him pointing the fingers towards the camera, or you, the viewer. I kind of want to have him the opposite direction of the Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom had his right hand outstretched, so in this sketch I decided to make this guy with his left arm outstretched. I wanted to do the thrash metal fingers towards the camera, but ultimately I scrapped that idea. But I do want him holding his guitar. He has a magical guitar, or a haunted guitar. You take your pick. That's his weapon. It's a weapon, and it's his instrument. He doesn't need no stinking organ. But his guitar is going to be very unique. So yeah, back in the day I created the Mighty Monster Men, or Mighty Monsters. Still workshopping the name. They will be in Fight to Save the Universe in one of my sections here. Actually, Sinra, I think my second drawing video on the list, she's part of that story. She's not part of this team, but she joins the Mighty Monsters. Yep, as you can see, I was like, I'm not really... Well, first I then started doing it this way, and then, you know what? I was going to have it going this way, and then I ultimately decided, you know what? No, I don't want the fingers going towards the camera. Let's make that a lot bigger and erase it faster. So he'll still be doing the metal fingers, but it will be with the palm facing us, as you're going to see right now. Again, we're just doing the shapes, again, the basic shapes. I'm breaking things down into little sections, as you can see. If you've been following along, you know that's what I like to do. I think it makes it easier when you're doing your drawing, breaking into little parts. You know, even if you're sloppy, it's okay. You can fix it later. There you go. So, yeah, it'll be the top of his hand facing us now. And he's going to be a trench coat, as you can see. I like the trench coat idea. I mean, that seems so metal to me. But I got to shrink him down. I want to show more of Opus. That's the name I gave him. I think it's fitting. I was going to call him Phanto, but it sounds too much like Phantom. I was like, really? But Opus. You know, like he's conducting his own rock symphony. A rock odyssey. I don't know, maybe he would talk with a British accent. But, you know, the Phantom is French, but I'm not going to make him French. But maybe like a metal British accent will fit him. I think that would be fun. When the time comes for me to do Fight to Save the Universe as videos, I will also do the voice acting. Hey, it's part of this DL. I'm going to show you my little comic and give you art and a moving comic, and you can follow along, but I'm going to do the voiceovers because this won't get published. These characters, you don't know them. You'll grow to know them, but it's just something I want to do. Gotta shrink him down more. I want to show part of his legs, the little pelvis. He's not going to be like Elvis, baby. What we're going to see is a little bit of his legs. Let me see. I wrote some character profiles for my things. He loves his music, can ride his guitar. Wow, he can ride it. Oh, almost like a broom. I didn't know this. Focus its loud sound at things knocking them on their ass. Can camouflage himself. He can still feel alone at times. Aww. When drafting these things, I remember these guys were just drawings. I thought they look cool. Now I have to give them some personality. So now I've started another layer, regular raster layer, and now of course it's time to start doing some details, give him his look. I'm kind of doing an homage to the Lon Chaney Phantom with those huge ghoulish eyes and that big piggy nose, and he didn't have much hair up top when the mask came off. So mine, I'm keeping that with his eyes, as you're going to see. And his skin is kind of lumpy. Yeah, maybe it's just a phantom-y thing. He's like, so I'm into these big, wild eyes. It's very caricature-y. You know, we're not really super-duper concerned about them looking realistic, because he's an unrealistic-looking dude. His big nostrils, and I even give him a nose ring. Because, I mean, come on, that's rock and roll, baby. Give him a little nose ring. Why not? Make him stand out. And these little eyes. These crazy little eyes. Not huge, but kind of just sit in the center of this mass. And he loves thrashing his axe. Maybe he feels alone, but he likes to put up a front. He loves to jam. And he writes some great tunes. Crazy looking teeth, why not? He's a phantom. And his tongue is sticking out. Yeah, so metal. Why not? A little bit of that. Just kind of filling out his face a little bit, erasing some of this. I decided to give him a little chin hair. Yeah, that'll be a little add character there. And then this little kind of mohawk. I was trying to go a little bit for like the Lon Chaney look, but it was really like thinning hair. But I was like, yeah, let me give him just a little mohawk. Just top of the head. Just filling in some of this, but I'll get even to more details later. Start busting out his coat. So it's just a matter of tracing. I know I do like to do it this way. If you think you want to skip the step and go on to the inking, you can. I just like this. It gives me a little more of a feel of his look before I'm really married to the inking stage. I do kind of like the grittiness of this pencil stage. Remember, you can always draw over parts. You can erase them later. It's the beauty of this. But if you're drawing on paper, you could erase stuff too. You have that ability. You know you can. If you follow me, I know you can do this. Try to make it as simple as possible. Anyone can do this. And I hope you are joining me on this. Yeah, I gotta give them long sleeves, like Sleeve of Wizard. Gotta be. And they're just hanging off his forearms, of course. So his right hand will be holding the guitars, you know. I guess I should draw the rest of the guys when I keep going. There's a few other members of the team. There's the leader's Dracules. Then there's Froggenstein. Wonder Witch. Yeah, I know. Like, what? Wizard Wolf. Mummy Man. Swamp Duck. Dr. Rejectal and Mr. Wild, and the maggot instead of a fly. Ah, yeah, really slick. So it's a pretty big team. And then my cosmic characters will join up with them to fight off Satan. Because, I mean, who could be worse than these monsters than Satan? Yes. Lucifer's the big bad, the devil, so they have to close off 3 gates of hell in different parts of the world. So they have to split up in teams. Just came to me. I don't want to give too much away, though. But it was a fun story to write. I only did the first draft. But anyway, as you can see, we're getting Mr. Opus fleshed out a little more. Just erasing those lines that, you know, as you can see, I wanted to give the accent a lot of character because this is a Phantom's guitar. It's not going to look like a regular guitar. It's got to look supernatural. It's got to have some kind of horror movie elements, some kind of something you would expect a Phantom of the Rock opera to have. I'm not going to just give him any old guitar. It's got to have character and design, all kinds of creepy things going to it, but in his own wild, insane style, you know. And there's the metal fingers, baby. There we go. I like it this way. So it's cool. It's the reverse of the Phantom of the Opera. He's got his left hand out, and he's a lot more party than the Phantom's trying to seduce somebody. And looking pretty metal, man. Alright, now it's time to ink, baby. Still going for I'm going for 5 this time. I made it a 5 brush size. Sticking with the G pen, it's been working good for me. And adding his, like I say, you can always, I think I make his mohawk a little more pronounced. There we go. Just enough, just a hint. This Psycho Eyes. You know, he's a little psychotic, but in a playful way. You get your rock and roll on, man. You can go buck wild. Or Phantom Wild. He's a fun character to draw. As always, you know, it's tracing over the lines. You just got to add a little bit more. I wanted to give him some kind of almost, not crooked teeth, but not perfectly aligned teeth. Yeah, I stuck with the tongue sticking out. And that little fuzz on the bottom of his chin adds some character. Sometimes it takes a few tries to get that nose ring right. Moving on to the rest of the body. Kind of had this pointy shoulder thing, but I rounded off later. And the fingers strumming the guitar. He's hitting up some serious note action. He's sustaining it. I mean, just listen to the sustain. It's got great sustain. I don't hear anything. Well, you would though if it were playing. It's got great sustain. And I wanted to give him a little bracelet or something there. But I guess I'm moving on to the trench coat. I think I quickly realized that the shoulder's a little bit too much. Yeah, I gotta make it look more like a shoulder. It doesn't need to be so pointy. And the trench coat. And those big collars. I hope you're enjoying drawing with me still. I am. Glad you joined me. Good way to spend your day. Not your whole day. I mean, obviously, you only have this video is only about 36 minutes, 37 minutes or so. So hopefully it's been a fun time. You enjoy it. Following along. I know you can do it. People say I could barely draw a stick figure. If I can do this, you can do this. You can follow along. It's trying to make it as easy as I can. This sleeve is a little weird, but I change that later. Wasn't too crazy about that. It doesn't look right. But we'll change it later. As you can see, the final result, I have the sleeve a little differently. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And this bracelet I wanted a little more loose. The other one's a little more tight fitting. Almost like a choke collar on the wrist. The one on his left hand I wanted to be a little more loose. Now I make a separate layer for the guitar. Which is a smart move. So you can see I kind of have this almost like skull thing going on here. But I also wanted to give it a little, almost a bat head in a way. Maybe a cat head. Because it's a guitar. It's not going to just be flat. It's going to have style. It's going to have flair. Just making sure the layers are... Yeah, this helps. I took out the layer that had the ink for the Phantom, so this way you just focus on the guitar and start getting these shapes. Kind of like this almost fang thing going at the bottom. So I did add a little bit more in between clips. I added a ring to Opus, and I changed that sleeve. I wanted it to drape more. That looks more natural in keeping with this coat. And I added a ring, and then here I added a lot more design to the guitar strings, and then something. I needed something. I didn't want to be plain. I mean, this is his guitar. And I did kind of cheat. I used a hexagon shape to do the center of the guitar. To get that shape, it just made it a lot easier. And I didn't want it to be regular circle. All right, time for the detail layers. So, of course, I make that a separate layer. And I just think he should have these almost, feels almost lumpy, part scaly. When you look at Lon Chaney's, he just looks like, I don't know, it's almost like Yoda's skin in a way. There's just this kind of lumpy, crinkly, almost lizard-like or Bizarro-like feel to him. I mean, he could be in a bizarre world. Oh, I gotta erase some lines. Let's see. I don't want the teeth going to another layer. Fix that. Back to the details. So just add in just this little bit. And the brush is at 4. I sometimes make it to 3. But if you just hit it light, it does mimic the way I would pencil very well. Try it. Yeah, if you're doing it by pencil, you just follow along and do your own thing. If you're actually using ink, it would be best if you use artist pens. If you use ballpoint or markers, I mean, it might work for you. But an artist pen, there's different types. There's super fine, fine, extra super fine. Those I've used in some of my other drawings. By hand, of course. Try those. I was doing Halloween stuff. We'll get into that as the season approaches. But I actually did a Phantom of the Rock Opera sketch with Opus here in ballpoint pen. It came out good. And I did a few drawings like that with ballpoint pen. But once I got the artist pens, my world changed. They may not on the surface seem like the name. What the heck is an artist pen? Why would I use that? But once you get a handle on that, it is incredible. It just, it melts into the paper. I don't know what other way to describe it. And it gives you such beautiful details. If you go to my Dead Planet scenes, you'll see that's what I used on that. That's all hand-drawn. Now I'm going to give him a little t-shirt. He's not going to have a tuxedo like Mr. Phantom there. of the regular opera. He's gonna have, he's a rocker. He's gonna be relaxed. What kind of shirt should he get? Should he have a shirt that has a saying on it? Should have something like skull and crossbones. Should say music of the fright. I know I went there. Anything's possible. It might say, I love the artist always known as Alejandro. It could do that. It could say that. I mean, without me, he doesn't exist, right? Show your metal face. Berserker, girls go crazy. You have a pop culture dude, if you haven't guessed by now. I love me some movies, and I quote them like crazy. Well, if he ever made it into a movie, I would probably soil myself, first of all. Like, what? Opus is in a movie? I think I'd want to give him a British accent. Why not? Maybe it's somewhere down here, or maybe he's a little younger one, like he's, I don't know, it'd be something like, yeah, shall I go Spinal Tap? Make it go to 11. And, yeah, doing the erasing thing. Like I said, that's one of the best things. You could go out the lines and it's okay. If you have the artist pens, just take it easy. Don't go outside the lines. He's jamming on that thing, man. Some of his scaly things. I didn't want to make him look too scaly, just the hints that you kind of get that idea that he doesn't have normal skin. And I got to give a little style to his bracelet here. Just something cryptic. Even gave him a ring on his index finger here. All right. And just add a little bit of that. See, so you just add that, it gives it, okay, it's a dimension. It's not just this flat thing. It's not like tattooed on him. These little details give your drawing that little more than just a flat thing. It gives it a little more depth, a little more character. All right. Rock and rolls. What do we move on to now? The rest of the coat. Oh, erase some lines. There's lines intertwining. Rock and roll there, Mr. Opus. He's thrashing. Well, as you can guess, maybe by now, I do the voiceovers after. I used to do them live with it, but there's too many X factors. As I was originally drawing this, I was actually listening to some songs, and I think during that, I was listening to Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb. Yeah, there he is. So I figured, hey, he's thrashing on the guitar. I was just playing around with him, listening to that song. Erase those little hairlines. Oops. So many little hairlines, but then I moving right along. Gotta get rid of some more. And what's next? All right, we're gonna work on that. And I don't want to make the jacket. Could be black. Doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, the Phantom of the regular opera has a black tuxedo. And you're like, Opus could have you could have a black, but I don't want to do the same thing I did with his. I'm trying to keep it a little more simple. But then these lines would go the opposite way. As you can see, I like to have the lines going with the shape. I don't make them go opposite. I kind of have it just flow in that direction. And it gives a nice visual. Get rid of all that. Don't need that. Get it out of here. What now, Opus? Oh, the other collar. I'm just adding a little more to make it darker. I'm really satisfied that it's just kind of sitting there. It seems too light. So I want it to be a black jacket, but not fully black. Just so you know, it's just not a light color. And just adding a little more. I have to erase some. Adding a little more there. Alright, back to the inking. The extra collar underneath, because you just can't have that top collar. You gotta have that extra one underneath. And as you said, go with the flow of the line. Don't go opposite. It looks rad if you do that with jackets and stuff like that. Not to say you can't go the opposite way, but as you can see, it does accentuate your line. What are you doing now? I'm just doing the skin, his skin, those little bumps. It's almost like mimicking how they draw Aquaman's suit. He has these little bumps on him, almost like scales. So I'm adding a little more of that, so the lines of jacket flowing as the material would flow down. Once again, going in the direction, just bringing it down. Ooh. Doing the arm. Yeah. The lines just together make some big things. Now the middle fingers get their due. There we go. This and the thumb. And just a little extra shade here and there. The ring, I just wanted something simple, just a few lines across and maybe just something squiggly. You know, it's not super important, but it's just not a regular ring. And this little bracelet here. I've got to do some erasing. Oh, I'm adding some more lines. Okay. And when you get a little closer, you see things like, okay, I want to add this. Look at this. I got to add an extra line there. Yeah. I decided to do this going metal. Might as well have the spiky bracelet going around. So, you know, your spikes have to get a little smaller as they go towards the back. Let me do that spike over again. There we go. Erase that. I have to go back to the phantom layer because there we go. Ooh. This being futzy, I have to really shrink that eraser head down and get in there. Come on. There we go. Don't mess with me, man. And of course, I'm going to add go back to the details and add just a little bit of this in there. Just a little bit. Okay, pretty metal. And just doing the rest of his trench coat. This one I want to kind of accentuate the flow. You know, trench coats are kind of tricky to draw. You know, you got to get that effect that it's flowing. But it also kind of forms to his leg. So in that case, you add a few extra lines in there to the material. Just kind of show maybe the wrinkle, where the wrinkle is. We're erasing some more on these little hair hairs. You know, call them hairs. I'm going to the layer, taking the layer so I know, okay, what am I erasing here? So I don't know where it ends and begins. All right. And there's some things that are floating in space. Like, where is that dot? Okay. Get back your layers here. Just add some shade there. Add a little bit. Erase some lines that are bothering me. Add a little more darkness. Because it is the inside there. And it's going to be darker. Get under his arm a little bit. And there too. Hey, if you want to listen to any rock music while you're doing this, go right ahead. That's what it's about, man. I said I'd put music on while I'm doing the voiceover, but then I'd have to, you know, copyright issues. You know how it is. So I wish I could provide that. Had a little chest muscle thing there and some of the fabric of his ripped t-shirt. And of course the shadow, because the guitar's over that, so it would cast a bit of a shadow. I'm going to zoom in. I didn't like it. I got to zoom in and get a little closer here. Much better. And erase what I don't want. Okay. Moving right along. I'm going to do the guitar. Just a little bit of those lines there. Just to give it a little depth. I was going to try something with airbrushing and like, let me just, if I'm going to stick with these lines for everything, I might as well do it here. And just a little bit there so it's just not this like stick. It just gives you that extra detail. Give your drawing a little more dimension than this. Because as now, it just looks like a flat thing on top of them. It has some shape, but this gives it a little more detail. Just want to kind of have some shade there to go in the direction of the point of the edge of the guitar. And then I want to do some bended lines to go with this arch. Just took a few tries. And then again over here, this. Zoom in and flip this sucker for where the strings end. It's going to be metal. Not metal, metal. Totally righteous, man. And you notice the guitar is in space, right? I don't have a strap. He doesn't need it. It's a special guitar. He does not need a guitar strap. This baby floats in the air, man. Defies gravity. That makes it a special guitar. In the center, I was going to fill it in with black, but you wouldn't really see the strings. Now, here's a case. I'm going in the direction of the strings, but I'm also going to go opposite. And it kind of just shows the darkness, because that center part of the guitar is, you know, there's a hole usually there, and it's going to be darker in there. So I wanted to add something, but not take it too hard, because I want to see the strings. So I just did this almost cross-hatching thing by hand. Just give it something else. Yeah, man. And now I wanted to do a background. I was like, oh, let me do like dark clouds. I mean, he could be at one of his concerts. Or just in his rehearsal space. Or just jamming in his room, you know? He's the Phantom of the Rock Opera. Now, some of these clouds were going back into him, so I made it clear. It's almost like erasing it, so this won't interfere with his layer. There you go, just a little bit there. Get rid of it. I don't want to tell where it's touching him and overlapping. Like, big no, we don't need that. That's fun, and just adding this little bit of black smoke. Like, okay, it's like he's at a concert, he's rocking and rolling. Oh, excuse me. And I shrunk the cloud down and have this, I don't know, this smaller cloud thing's kind of almost like, I don't know, a little extra things streaming up. But I wanted to add something else, just kind of darken it a little bit. And I'm like, well, you know what? I was looking at that airbrush. Let me use this one that looks almost, I think it's the water airbrush. I just had this thing where it's like stuff is emanating from him. It's pouring out of him like energy for his concert. Yeah, I think we got it. Yeah, stellar performance, dude. And that's Opus, Phantom of the Rock Opera. Just want to add a little color to his eyes. I kept the same airbrush thing and added this just to give his eyes a little more something. So there you go, the Phantom of the Rock Opera Opus, just for you guys. Thanks for joining me and thrashing along and drawing on this totally heavy metal monster dude. It's been fun. I hope you enjoy listening to this and maybe playing some rock music of your own at your own opera. Anyway, once again, you could like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. Until we meet again, keep creating and rocking.